folks, and welcome to this week's show. My special guest today, we've got Billy Trey from the Tune Review.
Hiya, how is everyone?
And myself, and as you can tell by our images behind us, we'll be going to focus on Blondie, and we're going to be focusing on the top 10 songs of Blondie, which, I don't know about you, Billy, but I found it an almost impossible task to do. They've got such a great back catalogue. For me, they're probably they are the ultimate power pop band. When I think of power pop, I think of Blondie. To a different extent, I think of like Buzzcocks and Undertones and bands like that. But yeah. what a great band. Billy, just before we start and we do the countdown, how did you sort of get into Blondie?
There was a kind of a niche in the market for me. What would I have been? Maybe 10 years of age. And I really liked Squeeze and bands of that nature, the Stranglers and bands like that, the Jam, the Clash. And when I first heard Blondie, I thought, God, that's a bit twee, if I'm honest. As a 10-year-old, first time I heard was Denis. And I wasn't really into it. But when I saw her, I kind of thought, I want to get into this. And even though I didn't like the record, I kind of watched them after that. And the next single actually makes my top 10 actually, in our top 10. And it kind of went from there. And then I started buying albums and hardly any bad tracks in any of them. So the first 4 albums I ever bought were Blondie albums.
All right, okay, that's interesting to know.
I'll say that. No, that's not true, because there was a couple of specials ones in between and what have you. But definitely the first one I ever bought myself was a Blondie album. Wow. And then I think I got the next one the following Christmas and stuff like that. So I was really, really into it. I even bought the single, even though they were on the albums. It was ridiculous, really. But yeah, I always liked the music, and I was a bit disappointed when they went a bit off the rails a bit, sort of early 80s, 82-ish with the Hunter and things like that.
Yeah,
it's disappointed me a little bit.
Yes, it's not.
But
great,
that's peak period, 78 to 81, late 81. Peak Blondie, prime Blondie, and I think all my songs come from there. Actually, they do, yeah.
Yeah, they were magnificent. Yeah, it's the same for me. Denis was. I remember watching it on Top of the Pops, thinking, "Oh, this is quite good." Again, like you, I was into like sort of punk rock at the time. Again, like a young lad, into punk, into all, like as you were saying, like, you know, I was into Pistols, I was into Sham 69, stuff like that, you know. And I remember listening, thinking, "Oh, that's great." And obviously, Debbie Harry being absolutely beautiful is always a winner when you're a 10-year-old lad. And she was just beautiful, wasn't she? And, you know, the band, I mean, not enough to talk about the band, because the band are absolutely fantastic musicians. They really are literally a great band. I mean, the classic lineup of Clem Burke, Nigel Harrison, Frank Infante, a great guitar player. Jimmy Destry's a great writer. He's like the secret hidden weapon as a great writer. Chris Stein, of course, and Debbie Harry herself on vocals. Just a great band. Never mentioned enough in terms of the musicianship. Clem gets a mention because he is a recognised great drummer, but the others deserve a real special mention as well. So we're going to do our top 10 here, folks. Please send in your lists at the end. I'm no doubt you'll all have different opinions. You go, what the hell you picked that? Well, it's rubbish. It should be this. That's absolutely cool. All right, it's all down to opinions. None of us are right. These are just our views. So, Billy, what have you got in at number 10? What have you gone for?
Well, I've gone from a track off the Ultra American album, which was a single. It's Rapture, which was a complete departure for me from what Blondie usually did. And it was a complete departure from anyone was doing at the time, to be honest. It was talking during a song. I mean, we'd heard the Sugar Hill Gang do it, but certainly hadn't heard a punk princess do it. And even though the lyrics are absolutely awful, just rhyming words that make no sense really at all, it's a really funky song, and the saxophone and things like that in it. It's just a great sound, really great sound, and the guitar, the funky guitar, just a brilliant sound. The video adds to it as well. Yeah, it's just a top song. You know, just a different kind of vibe for them. And it kind of raised my eyebrow a bit. I like that. It wasn't a very high-sounding song. It didn't make number one like lots of the songs did.
Yeah, it did in America, bizarrely, though, didn't it? It was number one in America.
Huge in America, yeah. Huge in America, yeah. Which was strange at the time, because they weren't really picked up in America until much later after we picked them up.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rapture, really funky tune. Love it. Still love it today.
Yeah. Great song. And one of the first real rock crossover songs, wasn't it? I think the Clash did one. The Clash did one as well. But this was before that, and this is a better one than the Clash as well. To be fair. Right. Well, my number 10 is also from Auto American, and I've gone with T-Birds, which I just really, really love. It's apparently referring to Los Angeles Thunderbirds, a roller derby team. Bizarre choice. And Debbie Harry wrote at the time, roller derby was pretty active at the time. It was sort of like wrestling, which I loved, but it was with women's teams. I just seemed to fit the music, she says. She says she wasn't really satisfied with the lyrics, but I just really love the whole groove of it. It's a really catchy song. It's unusual. Yes, it's an album track, but it's just unusual, and I think it's got a real super feel to it. Auto American's a really unusual album as well compared to the previous two, which go each to the beat and parallel lines are almost sort of sister albums. Really, they go hand in hand. Auto American's a real, totally different album, and this song is a great song. It's obviously it's got links to Grease as well when you think of like T-Bird as well and all that sort of thing, and that was still very much in vogue at the time. So I've gone with that. I just think it's a really catchy song. It's an unusual one, and it's a really, it is a top tune. So that's my number 10. What have you got in at number 9?
Back to Parallel Lines for this one, and the most laid back Blondie track I think I can think of. It's Fade Away and Radiate. I think it's an absolute superb tune. It really is. So laid back. Her vocals are just sublime on it, and thanking Fante guitar at the end just fades out to a perfect song to me. Really great tune. Lovely reggae vibe to it. Just calm, cool song. Really good.
Yeah. It might. I'm not giving too much away, but it might get a hint later on. my number 9 is this was from the No Exit album, and it's not Maria, by the way, folks. It's Nothing's Real But the Girl, which was released as a single. It got about 25 in the UK, and that was it. And I think it's infinitely better than Maria. It's really, really catchy sort of song. I think Jimmy Destry wrote this one as well as Maria. It's about how you can believe in anything. It's got like references to lucky numbers, referring to heaven, but all those things that you might believe in pale into insignificance to love. And I think it's a great theme, but it's a great song. But more importantly, the music's fantastic. It's really quite punky. It really rocks out. And at the end, Clem Burke just jumps out on the drums. He's outstanding at the end. He's fast Keith Moon-like flourishes around the kit at the end. It's just absolutely splendid. Really, really top song. If you've not heard it, folks, go out and check it because it's a real underestimated classic, an absolute belter. So Nothing's Real But the Girl from 1999. And bearing in mind, they hadn't had a single out for 17 years to come back with Maria, and this is some quite impressive comeback, I have to say it. So that was my number 9. Billy, what have you got at number 8?
Number 8, I've gone for The Hardest Part of Eat to the Beat.
Oh, yeah.
Really meaty, beaty, big and bouncy tune. The song, it's about a heist, I think. Kind of breaking into armoured cars and things like that. But it's just that beaty guitar, meaty guitar in it. It's really, really cool. Clem Burke's drums are loud as you like. Just a great track again with, Off Eat to the Beat, which is a great album in my opinion.
It's got a great funk groove, hasn't it? Loads of space on it. It was just off my top 10 there. Really, really great choice. Really, really great choice. I think it was a single as well in America.
In America, yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah, but bizarrely not in this country, but it's just dead catchy. And originally at the time, I remember I had the video. Shows our age, folks. You had the Eat to the Beat album on video. So they did, every song had a video to this. This had a cracking little video for it. So go and check that out because it's definitely on YouTube. Super choice though, Billy. Absolutely terrific choice. My number 8 is from the self-titled debut album. And it's from 1976 and it's Ex Offender. It was originally called Sex Offender. And the record company changed the title because they were a bit dubious about it. And Gary Valentine wrote it about the idea of getting a teenage girl pregnant. Debbie Harry changed the lyrics so the song was about a prostitute falling in love with a police officer that had arrested her, which I thought was very, very clever. It's also, again, and this is one thing that Blondie really have, they've got a 50s vibe about them as well, don't they? That Shangri-La's sort of 50s, early 60s sort of sort of big space, big drum beat sort of vibe, and then everything goes in with the keys, giving you that sort of almost waltzer-like feel as well. So this definitely fits into that format. And I say Gary Valentine was the original bass player at the time. And he wrote a couple of really great songs, actually. He wrote a couple of really, really great songs, and this is one of them. I just think it's really catchy. It's fun. It's just a terrific song and a really daring title and a different theme for Blondie, not your usual sort of love and romance sort of thing. It steps away from the norm, and I like that about this as well. It's a real chance taker, but a great song. The debut album, by the way, folks, is excellent. So go and check it, because there's a couple of songs, really 3 or 4 songs could have made it onto this show for me from the debut album. So yeah, that's my number 8, Ex-Offender, terrific song. What have you got at number 7, Billy?
Number 7, I've got I'm Always Touched by Your Presence Dear off Plastic Letters.
Yeah.
This is the song that really got me into Blondie, actually. Aside from the twee twee sound of Denis, this had a bit of a more meatier sound to it for me. And even as a 10-year-old, I knew that these instrumentalists were really good at what they were doing. Lovely guitar in it, and a great tune. It's got a bit of haunting sound to it as well. It's a bit kind of aggressive haunting in it. It's a weird kind of description of it, but that's the vibe I got from it. Great tune, great tune.
And again,
once
again, as you say, I remember it was on the Whistle Test, wasn't it? They did this on the Whistle Test.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
And Clem Burke again really shines out in the middle of this big space, and he's just flying around, giving it, you know, a million miles an hour beats, and it really sort of jumps out. But I'm not sure if Gary Valentine wrote this one as well. I could be wrong. Feel free to let me know. Yeah. So interesting choice, and again, it's on my list of possibles. It's a fabulous song. Our vocals are beautiful, aren't they? Very restrained. Just beautiful vocal style. Terrific choice, Billy. Terrific choice. And again, yeah, it was originally on my 10 and I moved it out. My number 7 is my only cover version in the list here, which is Hanging on the Telephone. This could easily be number 1, to be brutally honest, but I didn't want the cover version being too high up. So I put it further down than what it probably is worth. When I was young, I didn't know it was a cover. I didn't know it was a song by a band called The Nerves.
Yeah, exactly, didn't he?
Yeah, a great song. It's got a stalker feel to it, doesn't it? And I don't know if you've read a book at all, Billy, Debbie Harry's book, but this sort of fits in with what was happening at the time in the sort of early to mid 70s. She actually almost got sort of murdered by Ted Bundy. She was in Ted Bundy's car and escaped Ted Bundy's car, and describes it in great detail within our autobiography in terms of how to climb out the window. And it's got that stalkery, weird sort of feel about it. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's so catchy. It's absolutely brilliant. Frank Infante's guitar is magnificent. The whole band, 100 mile an hour, and it just drives and rocks. Yet it's got a subversive theme to it. Absolutely magnificent tune, but an even better interpretation. What a song. So Hanging on the Telephone for me is number 7. What have you got in at 6, Billy?
Well, if you're talking about all-out attack of a song, I've gone for Living in the Real World off Eat to the Beat.
Oh, yes.
It's 2.5 minutes of absolute mayhem. Love it. Absolutely love it. And she's screaming in it for all her heart, really. And just loud music. I love it. It's a fantastic track. Just to end off Eat to the Beat.
Yeah, it could. I saw them do this in Newcastle City Hall in 1999, and I love Eat to the Beat. And this, again, my mate, when I was talking to my mate Ian, so Ian will be watching this, and he says, "Oh, you put it on?" I said, "Oh, I don't know. What do you reckon?" He goes, "Oh, I don't know." We're talking about this and Victor. He's going, "Oh, what do you reckon?" And
Victor's very much like that, yeah.
Yeah, I said, "Oh, I'm going to leave it, I think, but it's great." And they did this live. It was fantastic. It's basically a Ramones type song, isn't it? Blondie basically doing the Ramones. It's absolutely perfection. What a great choice that is. Like, what a super song.
B-side tune in City Blue as well. That's where I first heard it.
Well, there you go. I mean, bloody hell. What a set of songs. My number 6 is the song that I remember my dad bought it and he brought it home and I was unsure at first. And I'll give you the clue because it was a bit disco-y. And that's Heart of Glass.
Oh, no.
So Dad bought
Not
it, brought it in, and I played it, and I
coming
thought,
yet.
no, I'm not sure. Oh, it's harming me punk credentials. And then, of course, over time, and it was number one for bloody ages, wasn't it? It was number one for
It
weeks, at
was,
least
yeah.
about 6 weeks or something. It was number one for ages. And in those days, to be number one in 78, you had to sell a serious amount of records. I mean, 78, I just remember Boney M virtually being number one for the whole year. you
Oh,
know, you know, it was
and
them and
and
Greece,
Greece
them and Greece, wasn't it? And
and the Rats.
yeah, the Rats ripping up the picture famously. And yeah, it's just a great song. It's very very clever in terms of the electronic drum and then Clem Burke playing along to it. The band are superb. You've got that keyboard effect with a sort of vibrato thing going on through it, the tremolo effect running through it. It's obviously about some sort of failed relationship. Um, but honestly, after about a year, the single was virtually worn out in the house. It's such a great song. And it's one of those songs that, as do all of these actually, stand the test of time because my two kids play it loads in the kitchen. It gets played to death, and they're singing it around the house.
Yeah.
So it just shows you what a top tune is, or as the kids would call it, it's a banger. So my number 6 there, Heart of Glass, marvelous. What have you got at number 5, Billy?
This is one of Jimmy Destra's as well. 11:59 off Power. Absolutely, the piano and all that. Fantastic. What a track. An absolute outstanding track from an outstanding album, actually.
Yeah, it's quite an unusual feel as well to it, isn't it? It's got some sort of odd type groove to it. Yeah, as you see, it fits in perfectly. It is an outstanding album. When we come to the albums,
Yeah,
it's going to be right up there, isn't it? Yeah, 11:59 it's such an unusual title, an odd sort of thing to sing about. Obviously, about the turn, and it's about coming to the next day, and sort of hanging on to something. But yeah, absolutely top tune. I'm pleased you're picking some of these because these are like songs I've got lists that haven't made my list. So it's really quite nice to see some sort of really proper great album
yeah.
tracks. My number 5's the one that you've already picked, Billy, and I've gone with Fade Away and Radiate. Apparently possibly it's about watching TV and falling asleep and almost fading into a blurry like dream where everything, reality and dreams mix together. I love the Roxy music feel about it. It's almost got that in every dream home feel about it with the keys and the huge drum beat on it and the atmosphere crept on it. And it's got Robert Fripp on guitar. It's got what we call an ebow, I think, and he's sort of playing the ebow, and it creates that long guitar sort of sound. His guitar playing on the set are just unbelievable. It really is. The band are superb on this, and I love it in terms of obviously on the album. It breaks up the album from just great pop songs to something a little bit deeper, a little bit darker. You mentioned bits about it before, so I'm not going to go on about it, but what a great song. So Fade Away, and any of these could have been number 1, to be honest. Fade Away and Radiate, my number 5. Billy, what you got at 4?
Well, I've got one that you've picked, which is Hanging on Telephone at 4. Just from the British kind of pips at the beginning of it all the way through.
Yeah.
It's not punk, but it is punk. It's not new wave, but and you can't kind of what's the word for it? Compartmentalize Blondie. And this kind of epitomizes more than one kind of style for me. It's got the punky bit, it's got the angst, like you say, it's about a stalker, and it's got that I can't control myself, and the way she says it, it's all just angst filled. Great track, and one that you could rebel to your parents, which is where I got this from. I loved it at the time.
Yeah,
I still love it now.
Yeah. As you say, it could easily be number 1. It's just such a bloody. It's one of the greatest cover versions ever. When I do a top 10 cover version song, I think that this will make it without a shadow of a doubt. They did some really great covers actually, which you don't realize at the time. I mean, obviously, Danae did this. There's some absolutely fabulous covers, and a couple of them went number 1. My number 4 is Our Parallel Lines. It was the first single, which is Picture This. I didn't realize Picture This was the first single off the album. Debbie and Chris wrote this one. It's relationship or desire based. I'm not quite sure. It's a little bit vague, if I'm being honest, but it's just so catchy. I love the references to Picture This, Day in December, and all that. And it's The imagery is brilliant. The whole band are just absolutely perfect. When you're talking perfect power pop, this is it for me. And it's so catchy. It's so catchy. It's so brilliant. And as I say, I just thought, what do I put it for? And I say randomly chucked some of these up in the air at this point, and I just went with picture this. So yeah, my number 4, picture this, just pop perfection. Billy, what big 3? What are we going at 3?
3, I've got Accidents Never Happen off Eat to the Beat. Just a fantastic tune. The bass is on point with it. Nigel's bass is great. The guitar's brilliant. Clem Burke, as always, is fantastic. And her voice is sultry in this one. And again, crescendo. Great track. First side of Eat to the Beat, and it kind of towards the end of it, it's a really good side of music on the vinyl. It's that first side of Eat to the Beat, and that's my favourite part of it. Accidents never happen,
and it's a million miles an hour as well.
It is,
great song, great choice, actually, great choice. I love the video for it as well, with all the kids sort of sitting around and doing dancing. I've just realised I've got 2 number 3 here, so I'm dropping one of them, and I'm going to, just for the record, I'm dropping Rapture, so I'm removing it because Billy's already had it. Great disco chic song, and chic style song, sorry. And we've talked about the rap and it being groundbreaking. I'm going to go with Union City Blues, and I didn't know Union City's in New Jersey. It says it's on the New Jersey Transit Rail Link. The map shows that the colour of the said link is orange. So hence to the orange side. So the guy's in Union City and she's off to see him. And it says either on Hoboken or New Park, Penn Street. And on the video, if I remember rightly, she's wearing like an orange outfit. Overlooking the sort of
on the top of the building, aren't they? On top
great video. What a great song, though. It's so catchy, and it's also got this sort of sometimes Blondie do it really well, that little melancholic feel to it as well as being super catchy, that little bit of melancholy. And I just absolutely love Union City Blues. So yeah, that's my number 3. Great song. Billy, what have you got at number 2?
Number 2 for me is Nigel Harrison's finest hour. It's Atomic.
Yeah.
The bass solo in it is absolutely outstanding.
Yeah.
Clem's drums again, and the synthesizers that Jimmy Destry plugs into it, along with a little guitar. It's just a perfect song. One of the best number 1s I think this country's ever had in it. It's just a great tune. It goes on for a long time as well, so you don't feel you want more. It's kind of 6 or 7 minutes of absolute perfection, and that bass line just tops it off.
And nobody looks hot normally in a bin bag, but Debbie Harry manages to pull it off, doesn't she?
She does. Yeah, it's an outstanding video.
In the video, it looked like part of it cost about $10 to make, and then you got the little fancy effects in the background when they make it all go red, which was the sort of in vogue thing to do at the time.
Ashes to Ashes type, yeah.
Ashes to Ashes did it, in Vienna slightly later. About the same time, actually. What a great song. Fantastic song. It's not on my list, but again, it's one of the ones at the bottom. My number 2 is Dreamin'. Written about Debbie and Chris, about the idea of being in love, emotions, and the sheer power of it all. Again, my sort of all-round thing, it's like all singers, you want to be a drummer. And Clem Burke's drumming is just brilliant at the beginning on it. It's just the sheer, again, the ferocity of his drums, brilliant. Really, just the whole band are really rocking at this point in sort of 79 and 80, really flying. Just it's a perfect, again, and I keep saying the words perfect pop song because they are the perfect power pop band. And Dreaming is one of those songs that just encapsulates it. I always knew this was going to be in my top 3. This was always quite an easy choice for me. It was just whether it was going to be 1, 2, or 3. And today it's 2, but it could be number 1 tomorrow. So Billy, what have you got at number? What have you got at number 1?
Well, I start with an Auto-American track at number 10, and I'm going to finish with an Auto-American track at number 1. Angels on the Balcony.
Oh, right, okay.
Absolute perfection, and the jingle jangle birds type guitars, but spiced up to an 80s vibe. Oh, it's just everyone on it is perfect. It's just the perfect pop song for me. It really, really is. It's got a kind of dark kind of subject to it, but the music isn't dark at all. It's joyous and lively. I've got no words to describe how great it is. And if you haven't heard it, it's on Auto American. One of the greatest pop songs I think I've ever heard. Angels on the Balcony.
That's a great song. That's a great call. I was not, I'll tell you what, I could have sat here for about an hour and I wouldn't have got it. I wouldn't have put money on that being number one. What a great choice. My number one could have been on Auto American, but wasn't. And it's Call Me. It's I think it's just one of the great pop songs. Again, it's another one of the songs that my two kids play over and over again. It's a number of mixes that you have on in the house. It just comes on and it's just super catchy. The opening drum beat again, the song starts with the drums again. And you know after the first two beats exactly what song it is. It's always like a sign of a great guitarist. You can tell by the guitar tone who it is, you know. You can tell with Klemberg's drums what song it's going to be. It shows you the sign of a great musician. It's based on the film American Gigolo, which it was written for, point of view from the woman. Somebody wrote the man, but I think it's the woman's perspective. Referencing various aspects, sharing a bottle of wine, falling in love with the idea of somebody falling in love with a client, possibly. There's references to within the film about the person speaking in a range of languages, but it is just such a catchy song. And U2 have sampled it recently as well with their latest single. And in terms of they basically took part of the chorus, and therefore Debbie and Chris have got songwriting credits on the latest U2 song. So it's actually on there as well. But it is just a great, great pop song. Yeah, I kind of put it like yourself. You just said before there, Billy. I cannot put it into words how good it is. It is sheer pop perfection. And I always remember when they did it on the Muppet Show, and she looked gorgeous on it as well. And I'm sorry about the keep harping on about how beautiful she is, folks. She's probably the most photogenic person I can possibly think of. And she would look beautiful on it. And the band were great. So you had all the Muppets basically called me in with punk gear on, and she was like I had to get a punk scout like badge and all the rest of it. It's a great version. If you get to see it, they do a great version of One Way or Another, which is obviously another great song.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
they do fantastic versions on it. She does Rainbow Connections as well, which is also another great song with Kermit the Frog. So if you get a chance to watch it, folks, it's on Disney. Go and watch it. It's brilliant, the Debbie Harry version on Muppets. So Call Me is my number one. It's brilliant. So, Billy, what other songs did you have sort of skirting around the edges there?
Victor was one of them. I just felt Victor and Living in the Real World was a bit similar, although Victor's probably a little bit darker.
Yeah.
That's a Frank Infante written track, that one. It's very, very dark, very, very loud. What else did I have? Picture This, what you had on yours. Cautious Slip off Plastic Letters is a very good, great tune. And Go To It, off Auto American. All good tune. Do the Dark, another one. Lots and lots of ones. Not many bad ones, to be honest.
Yeah, there's just loads. I mean, I've got Eat the Beat written here. I've got Rifle Range, Look Good in Blue, One Way or Another, Always Touched by Your Presence, In the Flesh, Victor, Living in the Real World, Die Young, Stay Pretty, which I love.
Oh, yes.
And can I just mention as well, folks, Long Time from the Pollinator album, one of the recent songs. It's a great song. You get a chance, go and listen to Long Time, because that was for a while penciled in for me. And I just crossed it out last minute, but that's a terrific pop song. So they can still do it. They can still create some great songs. And I believe Glenn Matlock's on the new album, so he's talking about how good some of the songs are as well, along with
yeah.
I think Johnny Marr's on it as well, apparently. So that'll be interesting. So there we go, folks. That's our list today. Send in your lists and let us know what your choices are, what you think, and what you think of our lists. I'm no doubt sure you will. So thank you very much, folks, from Billy and myself. Until the next time, take care and look after yourself. Goodbye.
See you, folks.